name is Nicholas Deaton. You're watching Movieguide. We're here at the red carpet premiere of Am I Racist?, Matt Walsh's new political comedy. Let's go talk to some of the actors, producers, and executives. Did you ever envision yourself that you would become a AAA star celebrity after torturing liberals on camera?
AAA, is that what you're giving me? I'll take that. No, this is usually when you're podcasting, this isn't really part of the podcasting deal usually, so this is a different experience.
Right. So how did you get the people on camera in order to act authentically, even with all those cameras around?
That's why we approached the film the way we did, trying to I'm sort of playing a character that agrees with them, because we found as long as they don't detect any skepticism, they're very comfortable to be themselves and reveal what they really believe. Right. If they start to detect that you might disagree or you're trying to challenge them, then they kind of clam up. So we had to just create a safe space, I guess is the way they would phrase it.
And I saw that disguise that you had on the movie. It was a very good-looking disguise. What made you change back to the original Matt Walsh?
The man bun, I wore it for a year, and it's too much maintenance. I like to keep things short, less to maintain, yeah.
Awesome. And what do you hope people will walk away with after they see your movie?
I hope they'll walk away realizing that, the kind of racial division and resentment and suspicion and guilt in this country is really being driven by these race hustler grifters who stand to profit immensely off of it. And those are the people who are creating a lot of this because they have a vested interest in keeping it going. So the best thing we could do is just ignore them and, live our lives.
Why is this movie important to you? I gotta know.
Well, this movie's important because it's very rare that you have an actual conservative-leaning film come out in theaters, and for it to be primarily entertainment rather than politically oriented. Matt worked super hard to make this really funny and really good and really entertaining, and as people are going to see, it truly is. And I think that it's going to strike a blow also on a bigger issue, which is the infusion of diversity, equity, and inclusion into all of our major institutions, which effectively is just a guise for racial discrimination. I think Matt makes that clear in the film as well.
And so is Matt Walsh, is he that stone cold faced same person off camera as he is on camera?
Literally all the time. Literally
all the time.
Oh yes. He has no soul. He's dead inside a little bit. Sure. Right? And so that definitely helps. That definitely helps is the fact that, as a man with little personality, just like draining whatever was left completely out, he really got it apart, let's just say. He's a method actor.
And so what do you think people will take away from this movie? What kind of action do you think people should take after they've seen a movie like this?
Well, if you're obviously a corporate head, I think you should think very seriously about getting rid of your DEI program. I think that if you're a government actor, you should think very seriously about taking legal action to stop DEI because it is in violation of the Civil Rights Act of '64. And if you're just a normal person, I think that speaking up now, at your company, in any place that you can, will be imperative because the dam is breaking on DEI, and I think that this is the beginning of the end of it.
Well, it's important to me personally because, of course, I know the people who made it and I like them and I enjoy working with them. Why is it important culturally? Because Matt Walsh is very good at putting his finger on, what would you say, the zeitgeist, right, the current state of affairs. And he's good at introducing the ideas that are at the center of the culture war to a broad audience, and he's good at doing that in a straight-faced, satirical, everyman way. And I think he did that very effectively with this movie. And I think people will respond to it that way. It's also actually quite funny, which it's supposed to be, in that sort of straight-laced way. And I'm quite happy that he's exposing the machinations of the DEI industry and people like Sarah Rao and Robin DiAngelo, who I'm not fond of in any way. So it's good that people can see exactly what they're doing and maybe more precisely why it's wrong. So,
totally agree. What do you hope is he has What is a Woman,
yeah,
which tackled the transgender issue.
Yeah.
It tackled What is a Woman. We have the Am I Racist issue. So what do you hope is the next installment in this trilogy it seems like Matt is creating?
That's a good question. Well, one of the things that might be interesting to take a look at the right-wing trolls. And I don't know if Matt would necessarily be interested in that, but he might be, because the fundamental issue isn't partisan in the final analysis, even in relationship to the culture war. The fundamental issue is that psychopathic narcissists are hijacking the political discourse, and that's happening on both sides of the aisle. So I haven't talked to the Daily Wire folks about that except peripherally because they're aware of the problem. But that would be an interesting departure as well. Now, I have no idea if Matt would be interested in doing something like that, but you never know.
It's important because I share an office with this guy, and he seems like a stone-cold psycho who can just speak to these people totally with a straight face and use their language, which is so farcical and absurd, and get them to divulge all of their secrets and expose this powerful agenda for the whole world. And I want to know what kind of psycho I'm sitting next to in my life.
I don't know how he's able to keep that straight face that whole movie. I can't do it. So what do you think? How do you think people should react to this movie? What kind of action do you think people should take after they see a movie like this?
Well, look, the joke of the movie is that this is all real, and it's not merely a fringe movement, it's being pushed at the highest echelons of political power, not only in the government, but in corporate America too. Everyone has already experienced the kind of farce that is portrayed in this movie. So the question is, how much longer are we going to tolerate the grift?
Well, this movie is important to me because I love Matt Walsh, most importantly, and this is obviously his baby. It's a passion project he's been working on for 2 years, and anything that he pours his heart into is going to be amazing. But just for culture in general, comedy is so important, and comedy teaches us so many things, and it pushes barriers, and the comedy world has gotten kind of too terrified to do that in recent years, and so I'm excited to see what Matt does tonight. He's incredibly clever, he's super brave, he puts himself in these crazy situations to teach a lesson and to teach people something through laughter, so I think that's super important. Yeah.
So we have What is a Woman, we have Am I Racist? What do you think is going to be the next movie that Matt is going to do?
Gosh, I don't know. I would love to know, and I would love to speculate. Maybe it would be something... He has all these weird animal things, so maybe he would, or aliens probably would end up being aliens, but I had no idea what Am I Racist was for over a year, because I would hear whispers about it, but even Matt, when I would go, have dinner with his family or talk to him, he'd be very covert about it, so yeah, we all learn later on when it comes out of his brain.
How do you think this movie should affect other people on both sides of the aisle who come and see this movie? What should they walk away with?
Well, I think that one of the key tools that we have in the toolbox of truth is satire, the ability to mock foolish ideas. Now, the idea that white people are inherently racist here in America is foolish, and it's movies like this that can point these obvious truths out. Of course, there are racist people, but you can be racist regardless of the color of your skin, and that's what I appreciate about Matt Walsh is he's able to take humor, combine it with truth, and drive home a point that is the nail in the coffin, hopefully, for bad ideas, and gets people on the right track.
It's important. It's important for America. I mean, we've been struggling over this issue of race in this country for quite a while, and I think there are people in this country that are making the issue worse, and we wanted to kind of shine some light on that and really remind Americans what this place is all about, and we're going to do it with some laughter. We're going to do it with a little bit of ridicule, get people laughing, but also really just remind Americans what makes us Americans, what makes us, and it's not skin color. And so that's what this movie's all about, is to sort of help us move beyond this issue that these sort of race hustlers and the media and people seem to be pushing on Americans right now. So. Yeah.
I've heard that some actors here, they're going in to see the movie, and they are worried about the results after they see Am I Racist? Are you worried about your results?
The results? What kind of results are we talking about?
The Am I Racist results.
Oh, are we? To find out the answer to the question.
That's right, the one question.
Yeah, I feel good about it. I feel like we do a good job in this film to answer that question. I think we can, whoever watches can really rest assured that they'll know the answer by the end of the movie. And I think they'll feel pretty good about it, depending on who the person is, of course. But yeah,
right.
I feel good, anyways. Yeah, thank you.
Well, it's our first film to open up in theaters. We couldn't be more excited about that. It's a big national release, so off to a really good start. What is a Woman? I think is the best documentary of its generation. I think Matt is one of one, the only person operating in the conservative movement who is capable of making this film, and it's so wildly different than what people expect. If you're a fan of What is a Woman, you know that Matt's capable of being the everyman, putting himself in very uncomfortable situations and getting people to expose what they actually believe, which in the case of What Is a Woman changed laws in states all across the country. But tonight he does something completely different, something we've never seen a conservative do in media in my lifetime, and that is he uses the left's own playbook against them. He uses tricks created by Sacha Baron Cohen, by early Colbert, early Jon Stewart, and not only gets people to reveal themselves, which of course is his specialty, but really gets them to humiliate themselves. And we say often on the right that politics is downstream of culture, but we're afraid to actually make culture. We just like to critique it all day. The Daily Wire is making culture. Matt Walsh is making culture, and I think tonight it's just more proof of it.
That's awesome. Did you ever see, when you started Daily Wire, did you ever see it becoming this mass media conglomerate of making all these different movies?
Well, of course, we're all Hollywood guys to some extent. Not successful Hollywood guys, but Hollywood guys. And so it was always part of our dream for the company to be in the culture-making business. But it was a long path to get here. This is, I think, the 4th or 5th premiere we've had since being in Nashville in this theater. And so it's becoming part of our DNA. And with every project, I think we get better. With every project, I think we expand our reach. So it is, in many ways, the fulfillment of the original vision of the Daily Wire.
Well, I think we're at a moment in our culture when it's the reasonable against the unreasonable. And I think this movie really highlights that. And I'm proud to be part of the great team that includes Matt, Justin Folk, so many others. It's hard to, and all the executives, Jeremy, Caleb, Ben, Shapiro, John Lewis, thank for their support. They're the only ones that would make a movie like this. And I think we've really hit the zeitgeist, especially with the Democratic presidential candidate right now. I think it's something that's more relevant than ever.
And what are the strengths of doing a political comedy instead of doing just a political documentary?
Well, I'd like people that don't already agree with us to see it. And I think if we make them laugh, that might be possible. If we don't make them laugh, gosh, it's a much tougher ask. I've had a few liberal family members come to some pre-screenings, and they told me, I don't agree with most things on the Daily Wire, but I love that movie. And I thought it was hilarious, and I agree with some points in there that I wasn't thinking about. And when I heard that from my cousin in New York City, gosh, it meant the world to me.
Thank you so much for watching. You can go check out the full review at movieguide.org.
If you enjoy videos that follow your values like ours and you want to help us continue, go to movieguide.org/donate because we're actually a nonprofit. You may not know that, but we're working in Hollywood every day to help families have more choices that follows their values. And also subscribe right now.